are back. Welcome to another edition of the Sports War. And we are back. We got the full crew in the house. That is what it's all about. The Yankees, out of any team in the league, are the best equipped to handle a blow like this.
I think there is a higher power at play here. He's due law of averages. That dude is the ultimate scrub. It's trash. Yeah. Every person you have in there is fucking trash.
Next game, you're going to see a big performance. You can see it in the end of the game, and I'm just totally stoked and excited for this.
We are back. Welcome to another edition of the Sports Sport. And today we have Michael, Tony, and yours truly, Brian Barnaby. How you guys doing today?
Oh, dude, sweating today, let me tell you.
Yeah.
As I was saying, it is currently 82 degrees out. Just dropped 81, actually. High of 88 today. It's a scorcher out there, man.
Yeah. Couldn't agree more, Tony.
And it's tough, for you guys too, I'm assuming today.
The bigger fellas.
Yeah, dude.
The higher temperatures, the humidity.
The bad night of baseball.
But you know what I am excited about, Tony? And I'm just throwing you a curveball here. So I hope you're prepared. But take us to the course here, all right? I want to see some green in my background here.
Oh, my goodness.
Tomorrow commences the start of the 150th Open Championship at St. Andrews Golf Links, Tony. The first Open Championship there since 2015. Obviously, 150, a big number, and just I think it's important to celebrate golf at a time where there's a lot of controversy. Obviously, the Live Series is the biggest thing out there, and those guys are going to be out on the course. And it was kind of interesting. All the guys who are playing with Live that are playing in this tournament all got terrible tee times, terrible pairings. Usually they have them paired up with somebody of similar stature, and it's just like I think Bryson DeChambeau is playing with John Daly, which is just kind of
in the Live.
No, in the Open tomorrow. Like they're paired up, and because it's a group.
Let's
of
go.
Three to start.
John Daly winning it all.
That would.
Did you see what he did the other day? He shot a golf ball over a highway into a stadium.
John did.
Not on purpose.
Yeah, no. It was like. And it's put it right. It was like an open stadium, like It looked like a college style stadium where like the field's right there, and he just puts it right into the green in the stadium over the freeway. And that is smoking a cigar.
Oh, I bet
he's got his son, John Jr.
He's in it
on the bag. He's his caddy.
He's gonna be so good.
Oh, he's gonna be insane. And he's gonna learn too
how to smoke.
Because I saw something.
I think he's gonna just learn from his father's mistakes.
Right,
too.
That's what I was gonna say. Because John's won the PGA and the Open Championship. At one point, had a $20 million net worth. It's now down to $2 million. So you think about that. That's 10 times reduction just because of divorces and gambling debts and whatnot. But it's always fun to see him out there. The loud pants, the big swings.
I love it, dude. Yeah.
And of course, though, we're all looking forward to the return of Tiger Woods, and he's played about 5 or 6 practice rounds at St. Andrews. So a lot of good reports, and he's just really into this tournament, and he knows that he has months to rest after it. So Tiger.
Oh, he's into it.
Oh yeah. And he's thinking about it. I mean, here we are, it's July 13th, and he most likely, we'll see, I think he has his own tournament like January, but other than that, like his next start might be at the Masters. So think about how far away that is. So he knows a lot of time to recover. So he really wants to make the most of this week. So I'm really hoping he can compete. But if you look at the field, really, there isn't anybody missing in terms of, the big names. And obviously, the defending champion is Colin Morikawa. He had a nice win at Royal St. George's last year. However, has been struggling the last 4 or 5 months with consistency issues. But wouldn't be surprised if he turns it up for this event. You look at Jordan Spieth, a former Open champion. You look at Louis Oosthuizen, Tony's guy.
No way.
Won the Open, his only win, major championship win in 2010 when it was at St. Andrews. So he has some experience with this course. You look at Rory McIlroy, who hasn't, like we always have said, won the major since 2014 when he won the Open championship. You look at Shane Lowry, who won in 2019 at Rory's home course there in Ireland. So he's a contender. Will Zalatoris, his last 3 majors, he's finished in the top 3. And then, of course, world number 1, Scotty Scheffler. Xander Schauffele's been on fire. You have John Rahm, of course, Rory, who's one of the favorites to win this, and then Matthew Fitzpatrick. So those are just some of the big names. Obviously, Justin Thomas won the PGA earlier this year. So, you have some options. Patrick Cantlay as well. So I guess, just to kind of get a feel from you, Tony, if you would, I want to hear your winner of this event and Tiger's finish.
Okay, so for my winner, you did kind of mention before being, a favorite to win this. It would be Rory for sure. Never in his career has he finished in the top 10 in the 4 majors, in the same year, obviously. And now this is in contention. I think he's one of 2 players who have finished in the top 10 in the first 3. I'm not sure who the other one is off the top of my dome.
Maybe Scotty Scheffler?
It might be Scheffler. But I'm going to say he finishes in the top 10 in first, winning this one with a bang. Finally finishing within the top 10 in all 4 majors, first time in his career. Like you mentioned, he's one of the favorites. I feel like he always kind of, leading up to these opens, I feel like he always kind of downplays himself, just in terms of his level of confidence. But I think he's come out here, with that nice swing that he has, and you're going to see a nice victory from him. In terms of Tiger, I would say he finishes within the top 20.
Okay.
16, 17 maybe.
That would be respectable.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And he's won here before as well in 2000 and 2005. So he loves this course, and it's really his highest regarded course, maybe tied or just below Augusta. And then, so I think that's interesting. And then kind of just curious too, before I get to my feels here, what do you think he opens up with tomorrow? I mean, do you think he opens up with a bang, or is it just something just to get a number up and kind of coach from there? I mean, what do you think he's opening up with here?
I don't know. I would say maybe he opens up a little slow, maybe even 1 under or something.
Okay.
But then, once he gets loosened up, and he gets into his kind of momentum, his typical Tiger demeanor, you're going to see more success, throughout the rest of the tournament.
Yeah. No, I love to hear it. Michael, give me something. Winner and Tiger finish. I don't know if they're both in the same.
Oh, both in the same.
John Daly winning it. Telling you.
Even which would
him
be
and his son. Looking at Tiger saying
it would be even more insane than
Tiger winning it.
Yeah. Well,
Looking
and I
at
was
him
going to say
saying-
than Phil last year.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I think he's 56 years old, 55 years old.
Is he married right now, or is he single?
He's single.
I think he's paying off his 4th divorce.
Oh gosh.
Hey, you know what?
It could happen.
Yeah, law of averages.
And now where's Tiger finishing?
Second.
Oh,
Dude, could you imagine?
Gosh.
I honestly think for the final round there might be even though the time.
Do you think that'd be
difference-
the most viewed
ever?
Right?
Yeah.
I mean,
If
imagine
it
Tiger
came
and
down
John
to
Daly.
it,
Mhm.
yeah,
That-
we'd be watching it.
Oh hell yeah.
Oh,
No.
hell
What if
yeah.
it went John Daly,
Yeah,
Tiger,
Yeah.
Phil 3rd?
and that would be like, fuck you, live golf.
Yeah, exactly.
What if they do? What if they have collectively come together and like, guys, let's just turn it up. Let's show these dudes they messed up.
Yeah. I mean, that's what they've done, with these tee times, and just
Setting it up.
there's really a sense of kind of abandonment when it comes to these guys. I'm sure they're not talking to them in the locker room or anything.
Oh, you think so? Cold shoulder from everyone.
Oh yeah,
Oh, dude.
yeah, 100%, unequivocally, Tony. So I'm gonna go. As much as I would like to see Tiger win, I don't think he's gonna win. But I guess for his finish, I'm gonna say he's gonna finish 12th, which I think is tremendous achievement.
Yeah.
So I'll take that. I think tomorrow he'll open up with like a 68, and like everyone's gonna go crazy for that. And he'll kind of, just be consistent throughout the week and just take advantage of not a ton of steep terrain, obviously fast greens and just an ability to make some mistakes, but as long as he stays out of the rough, be in the right position. So that's my, kind of thoughts on him. And then as far as the winner, I mentioned him quickly before. If you look, and Tony, I did find the guy who's top 10. It's Zalatoris, actually, who is my pick. 6th at the Masters, 2nd at the PGA, 2nd at the US Open. So I'm gonna pick him. I think he's just been knocking on the door. I think he was Rookie of the Year last year. And I don't even know if he's actually won a PGA event yet. But the fact that he's always there, he's so talented. I just think he gets the job and hoists the claret jug at the 150th Open Championship.
Do you think Rory will finish top 10 then?
Yeah.
Yeah, easily. Right?
I wouldn't be surprised. Rory, 65 tomorrow. And then, maybe an even par round on Friday. And then I could see over the weekend, like collectively between the 2 rounds, like maybe 2 or 3 over. Just can't get it for 4 rounds.
That's tough.
So really can't wait for this. And I just think it's just going to be quite the spectacle. I believe the first tee times are maybe 3:45 a.m. Our time.
Oh yeah.
So but there's all like repeat coverage and obviously all the updates. So just great. Nothing like major championship golf. And I'm just really looking forward to it. And can't wait to cap a champion. And we'll have a little leaderboard update for everybody tomorrow. But for now, let's go to the world of Major League Baseball.
2-2, he got him swinging. A back-to-back strikeouts for Robbie Ray.
There's damage right there. Shohei, way, Cy-Yo, nada, where did that land?
Stuck to Chapman, who leaps up and grabs it.
Story spins and fires. Out at first.
There it goes. See ya. Home run, Aaron Judge.
All right, Tony. Not exactly our favorite night of this Major League Baseball season.
Oh no.
Last night. And just we'll obviously start with the Yankees here. At the end of the day, they end up embarrassingly losing a game to the lowly Cincinnati Reds, 4-3.
Barnes doesn't even want to be here. He's so embarrassed by the team.
No. I mean, hey, you're gonna have weird games. That's the nature of a 162 game season. But just a team like the Yankees going against the Reds, Garrett Cole on the mound, you waste a great performance, and you have to have some positives.
He played well.
4-3 loss is a 4-3
7
loss.
innings of no earned runs.
Yeah, so Garrett Cole's line,
Ks, right?
11
Ks?
strikeouts, 1 walk, 4 hits, no runs, 7 innings, 113 pitches. So he was dominant. But then Michael King does his job in the 8th.
Who doesn't do his job?
Striking out 1 perfect inning, but the once invincible Clay Holmes does not retire a batter. 2 hits, 2 hit by pitches, and a walk. Doesn't record an out. Only throws 5 of 16 strikes. And the tough part about this is they were undefeated after 8 innings with a lead going into the 9th. And Wandy tries to clean up the mess. There was Jose Trevino might have had a double play, which the game would have been over. They would have won 3-2.
Right.
Doesn't get it. Donaldson doesn't go for the double play, goes home. So there were a couple of things, and then Jonathan India has the go-ahead run with a single up the middle. And the Yankees just could not rally. In the bottom half of the 9th, and it's just a shame because you were coming off 2 disappointing losses to Boston, and kind of in similar fashion where you had a lead, especially 3-0 with entering the 9th inning with Clay Holmes on the mound. I mean, it's just the chances of losing that game are about 0. And the fact that it happened, I mean, what are you gonna do? As your mother says hello.
She also says sorry about our teams.
What are you gonna do though? And they got scoring done early, but then just kind of couldn't get anything going. You look at the lines here. I mean, they put up 2 runs in the first inning, a run in the 3rd, and then that was it for the rest of the game. 9 hits. But you got to Cincinnati Reds. I mean, you got to score 6 runs. So I just think that kind of hurt them. And it wasn't even a case where they were striking out a lot. Only 6 strikeouts and 2 by Stanton. Judge doesn't play. Aaron Hicks gets injured. Fouls the ball off his shin. I haven't heard anything else about that as of yet today. But the fact, you're coming off 2 losses. Judge has already rested a couple games recently, and then you rest him again. You start Joey Gallo, who ended up going 1 for 3, but really up and down the lineup. I mean, the only guy who had a really good game was Gleyber Torres, but unfortunately for him, he hits one up the middle, kind of antsy. First pitch of the at bat against Edwin Diaz's brother. And it doesn't hit the back. It just goes right up the middle for a double play. And that was the end of the game. And LeMahieu had walked. Before that, Judge had pinch hit for Gallo and struck out. So just when Judge was coming to the plate, pinch hitting for Gallo to start that bottom of the ninth, I really thought, at the least they're going to tie it. Are you kidding? But just it didn't fall their way. And, you feel embarrassed, of course. But at the end of the day, like I've mentioned before, after some of these losses, you've built up equity. So you're able to absorb stuff like this, and still, despite 3 straight losses, still a 14-game lead. But you just want to see this cleaned up. We've seen the struggles of Chapman. Clay's been good, but you want him to get back out there next time and go back to his old ways, because that has been a big reason why they've had the success they've had. And obviously, his burden will be reduced a little bit once Jonathan Loaisiga comes back. But, and I think, Judge has had some slumping issues the past month or so too. So you want to get him going. And I'd imagine, he's not going to rest until the All-Star break here. So those are the kind of thoughts you have. You hate this. This is only their 2nd, 3-game losing streak of the season, just to show the consistency they've had. But it's just tough because these are 3 straight games where you really could have won all 3. And instead you lost all 3. But like I just said before, it's the nature of the season. The crazy things like this happen, and they're fortunate that they're not in a tight race right now. And you just want to see them take these next 2 games with the Reds and then make some noise against the Red Sox this weekend to close out the first half of the season. So obviously, it all starts with tonight. But we'll get to that in a second. But if you would, Tony, give me something on the disappointing loss in Atlanta yesterday for the Mets.
Oh, all right. So obviously, you guys know Atlanta beat the Mets 4-1 last night. And a few things, went wrong, certainly, but it was the same deal as I feel like 2 nights ago, whereas, there was a bit of a pitcher's duel until the middle of the game. 5th inning is when we finally we scored. Lindor tripled, actually. Brandon Nimmo came around to kind of start the scoring there and put the Mets up 1. And you were pretty happy with that because both Peterson and Stripling were pitching really well. I was actually kind of surprised on how good Peterson went. He didn't give you a whole lot of length, 5 1/3, but only 2 runs given up, 2 hits, 3 walks, and 9 Ks. He was actually looking pretty good. His slider, which has been his kind of go-to pitch for getting outs, last night was on. I would say one of his issues that we've kind of seen throughout the season was, he would use his slider, which is very good, just to get that kind of that third strike. But other than that, he would hit his he would use his fastball a lot, which people were hitting up. But what you saw last night was, I would say, a significant decrease in the percentage of his fastball usage and a significant increase of his slider, which not only got the outs, but it brought him to the 1 and 2 count, to the 0-2 counts, because he was really utilizing that slider. Unfortunately, I forget who it was with the first home run. Matt Olson, of course. Matt Olson, which this is in the 6th inning now, bottom of the 6th. Peterson just left. It was off of a fastball too, I believe, just up and in. And Matt Olson, who's a good hitter, just kind of chased after this one, got the bat on it, and just drove it deep center field. It was honestly just what we've seen out of this Braves lineup, which are good hitters. It was a good hit from him, and that gave the Braves the lead. And unfortunately, at that point, the Mets, I would say, their lineup didn't do a phenomenal job in terms of putting themselves in good positions and kind of converting on those. We talk about runners in scoring position, the issues they've had. They were 1 for 5, which to even 1 for 5 obviously isn't good, and then only to have 5 opportunities with runners in scoring position, that's not great. Lindor with the triple is cool. Escobar had a nice double too off a Strider. But there just really wasn't enough scoring. And then, you're thinking to yourself, oh, you know what, 2-1, like we can come back. But then Seth Lugo comes out here, pretty much does the same thing to Duvall. Yeah, Duvall had that last homer in the 7th. Seth Lugo, same deal, 2-run homer. It was a fastball up and in. It seems like this Braves lineup really enjoys the up and in fastball because they pounced on it twice. And after that, the Mets just didn't have enough offense to come back from that, especially, it's late in the game. It's the 8th inning, and the Braves bullpen kind of did their job. And it was pretty tough because there was a few, Rothenberg talked about it on his show this morning, a few like blown strike calls. I think it was off the Matt Olson home run before. It should have been a strikeout, but it was a walk instead. And then you have a runner on. Matt Olson comes up, hits the home run, and it's like, I mean, you can't blame that for the reason why you lost, but I mean, geez, if that guy struck out, it would have been the end of the inning, and that would have been it. Matt Olson never would have had that at bat. They probably would not have gotten that home run, and it would have been a different game. But nonetheless, I mean, if you're the Mets, you have to score more, and it's tough. Rothenberg talked about it too. The bottom half of this lineup, right after Alonso, it was Guillorme, who's been batting pretty well. That's fine, but like he's batting 5th. Then Dom Smith, then Escobar, Jankowski was playing right field, and then Mazika at the catching position. So I mean, it's unfortunate that at this point, you would have liked to have kind of, I guess, beat the Braves, especially with that lineup. Just because, we talked about it, Brian and I, Marte is out. McNeil is still on paternity leave right now. So, you're missing 2 of your not only better hitters, but probably the hottest hitters on the team right now. So, it is pretty tough. And that's certainly a reason why we couldn't generate enough offense. And you would expect that at this point, I mean, if you just kind of win this series and then, kind of head into the All-Star break, knowing that, coming out of it, you'll have Escobar, you'll have sorry, not Escobar, you'll have Marte, you'll have McNeil, and hopefully DeGrom as well. That's a good feeling the Mets could have as long as they limit this, because now it's a game and a half. The Braves are back now. So, you have to take this series, keep it at 2.5, and go into the All-Star break with a good head on your shoulders when, you're going to have your main guys back after the All-Star break, and hopefully, extend this lead because I think the Braves too, I think they play Washington after us. And I mean, geez, dude, like,
talk about getting handed it.
I mean, yeah, really.
You would think, but then again,
I know you would think, but they're going to win that series, no doubt,
Right.
So, I mean, yeah, another really tough loss just because, like, Peterson, who's, giving you kind of what you would expect is a good outing from him, but then Lugo just laying an egg, I feel. And it's a shame because I feel like, Lugo used to be the go-to guy. Now, what confidence do you have in him?
No. What do you think about your mom saying that they had some bad calls?
I do think they had some bad calls. I mean, I would imagine she's talking about that walk that the ump called. I mean, it was pretty clearly a strike, dude. And, just because, I mean, obviously any other moment, if they just, if Matt Olson grounded out and the inning was over, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. But obviously people were talking about it because Olson homered to give the Braves the lead. So, that was a pretty, I would say, turning point for the game, and it was off of a bad call by the ump. So it's tough, dude.
And I know we've probably talked about this, but maybe not in a while. And, obviously, when it comes to me just kind of wearing it on my shoulder in terms of, how like the Yankees are playing over a couple game stretch. Do you feel like I'm not saying like a crazy amount, it just changes everything, but when you wake up the next day, there's something there like as a result of like a loss like this, for instance, nothing crazy, but just like a little, like you're a little tight, like just generally speaking.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I can't help it. Like I can't help it. And it's like a lot of times I don't want to listen to sports radio because I know New York, they're going to talk about it.
Oh my God.
And I was just telling Michael, I mean, at that point, like coming off a bad stretch, like I'd rather just listen to PGA Tour radio.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I kind of enjoy, especially after a Mets loss, I do enjoy listening to Dave. Just because, he's normally, although he does also get same deal. He is pissed off in the morning. He was pissed off this morning after the Mets lost, but there's always, he always gives some type of insight as to, what we have to look forward to, which is always good. And, I mean, Rick and Dave are just a good time. So,
yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure they're going to be talking, a lot of, obviously they're they're closely covering this Mets and Yankees seasons, but with Rick, the former NHL player, I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of free agency talk as well. So
yeah, he was actually he was off today. I guess he's doing some type of ESPN show this afternoon.
Maybe.
Yeah, for the draft for the free agency.
So we'll probably talk about that in a sec. But so back to the diamond here, and yesterday on our pick selections, I went 3-1, you went 2-2, so once again tied at 4-3. Plenty of games to choose from, a lot of afternoon games today, which are always fun. But looking at the scoreboard here, I think we could say we could do 4 apiece. So if you would lead us off, sir.
All right. I'll lead you guys off with something. Actually, let me see here. Okay, yeah, I'll take game 2 of this doubleheader between Seattle and Washington. We were just kind of talking about Washington being that they're playing the Braves tomorrow. But our boy, Brian, Eric Fetty on the mound in game 2. Again, his ERA, I feel like, has been increasing every time we look at him. It's now just a touch over 5.
Yep.
His last game against Atlanta, 3 innings, 8 earned runs. 3 of them being home runs. They give up 3 home runs, only 1 K over 3 innings. And obviously, Braves good lineup, but I mean, geez. I would say something similar along the lines, maybe like 4 innings here, 4 earned runs. And I really don't think they're gonna have much to work with, especially and I feel like game 2 is doubleheader. Give me Seattle. I say they win 5-2.
Wow, kind of an interesting way to start here. All right, so for my first pick, I know I'm so predictable, Tony, but
Yankees.
I just don't care, and I know I said it yesterday, and probably the time before that as well. There's no way they're losing this game, and I mean, you just take aside, the rough 3-game losing streak, the rough collapses. Kind of embarrassing only scoring 3 against Cincinnati yesterday, not scoring after the 3rd inning.
It's not going to happen again.
Not going to happen again.
No way.
But besides that, Luis Severino has been dealing. You could argue, I mean, he was definitely at least on the cusp, on the fringe of being named an all-star. I mean, he's 5-3 with the 3.11 ERA this year, a lot of strikeouts and just nasty stuff. He's opposed by former Texas Ranger and one-time all-star Mike Minor, who has, had a minor fall from grace compared to when he was pitching a few years ago. I mean, 1-6.
Oh, he is trash, dude.
Can't pitch anymore.
Yankees are gonna light him up.
The whole organization is trash.
Yeah.
So that's why you feel good. And like I said, I mean, I'll be the first one to own it. Sure, all season the Yankees, of course, have played like the best team in baseball. Not the last 3 games, just some uncharacteristic stuff. Some errors and just kind of the fundamentals that they had been performing so well up until this point, they haven't done. It's that simple. They've been fortunate. Some of the teams in the division have lost, so that lead is still comfortable. But you have to win tonight. You can't go 4 in a row and lose 2 straight to Cincinnati at home. Like, are you kidding it? Mike Minor on the hill. I mean, this screams a game where Judge and Stanton homer. And I think Rizzo's riled. He had a nice RBI double yesterday. I think he'll hit one out as well. And I think Sevy, kind of similar to Cole last night, 7 innings, but maybe, 8 strikeouts and 1 earned run, 4 hits, 1 walk, picking up his 6th victory of the season in a 8-2 Yankee victory, and just getting back on track, getting ready for that Boston series. And, I know obviously at the end of the day too, to me, it's an important series. I know it's a 14-game lead. But I just feel like the way you played at Fenway Park, the way that the Red Sox have kind of taken you out when you've been in the playoffs every year since 2004. I mean, I know they haven't played that many times. But the fact that they've consistently outperformed you, I think you have something to prove. And I think the biggest test will be next time they go to Fenway. But I mean, you could have a convincing sweep before the All-Star break. I mean, that would be huge. And I'm going to be there on Saturday. So really looking forward to that. And it's a Arthur Ave dinner pregame situation with the family.
Oh my gosh.
Shokri will be there. My sister Jennifer, Sam, and my parents. So a whole family affair here. So really looking forward to that game. Obviously, when we get there, we'll talk about it. But that being said, like I said, not expecting the Yankees to have too much trouble tonight. Get back on track. Worry about everything else later.
Oh, dude, Arthur Ave.
Marios. Hey, Mario.
Did you tell Matt? Yeah, he's gonna be so hyped for you.
I think I did like a while ago. He might not remember that because I told him a little bit ago. But Mario's great spot.
Oh.
The bread, the oil, the carrots, the penny vodka. Your mother seems to agree.
My mother definitely appreciates that.
That's nice Barnes.
Mom's in a good mood today.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's probably at work, slow day.
Yeah.
All right. So for my next game, and I believe last night I picked the Dodgers to win. They were my picks, right?
Yep.
Yeah. They ended up losing. Mike White did not have a great game, but the pitcher for the Dodgers. But tonight I'm gonna pick the Dodgers again because there's no way they're losing the Cardinals back-to-back games. Especially with Tony Gonsolin on the mound.
Isn't it Gonsolin?
Oh gosh, dude. Every time
we're still saying
every
this?
time. Tony Gonsolin on the mound. He has not had a loss. He's 11-0, which is unbelievable. And then I feel like last night, just looking at the game, like Pujols homered, which how often does that happen? I feel
getting ready for the Derby.
Definitely getting ready for the Derby. And then the backup catcher for Yachty's on the 10-day IL, I believe, right now. But what's his name? Andrew Knitzer.
Okay.
Went 3 for 4 last night, and that's not very typical of him. And obviously it was a tight game. I think it was a one-run game, if I'm correct. But regardless, there's no way I think Gonsolin is going to have. His ERA is under 2. It's a 1.62 right now. Over 88 and 2/3 innings. He has 80 Ks, only giving up 8 home runs. And yeah, it's up against Adam Wainwright, who's a good pitcher. But I feel like he, his ERA is a touch above 3 right now. Which is good, but it's nowhere near what Gonsolin can put out, and I feel like it's not even going to be close. It's going to be Gonsolin going 7, 1 earned run, 9 Ks, and I think the Dodgers are going to win this one 4-1.
Yeah, I like it. Gonsolin's been impressive this season, and speaking of some impressive pitching, we have a nice pitching matchup. Last game of the night tonight. I believe, it's in Anaheim. And we're gonna see Shohei Ohtani versus Christian Javier. So both guys have performed well, and obviously Ohtani recently with the pitching has been unbelievable. But I think this is the game where that streak ends. Houston's been impressive this season. Let's give credit where credit's due. And Ohtani's not gonna pitch 7 innings of scoreless ball
Tell him
every
the stats,
start for
Tony.
the rest of the season. In the last 4 starts, he's gone 7 innings and not allowed any runs or something.
No. Tell him the stats about scores and running position.
Yeah, he has right now. I think within the last 10 games, he leads the league in hits with runners in scoring position, and he also leads the league with strikeouts when the other team has runners in scoring position, which is crazy.
What do you think of my law averages theory?
Houston,
tough opponent. Angels suck. Let's get that straight.
Angels do
Trout
suck.
out.
Yeah, I guess so. But I still feel like Ohtani will throw a good enough game. Whereas, I think the Angels will win this one 2-1, 3-2.
Astros 10-0. It's just the Angels suck, dude.
What's Ohtani doing? 10-0.
3 innings, 6 walks.
6 walks.
Earned, so more runs than he's probably given up the last 6 starts.
That's ridiculous.
And he goes over 4 with 3 strikeouts to the dish. Javier 7 innings, 15 strikeouts.
I wonder why he hates on him.
1 hit,
15 strikeouts.
Yeah, and Alex Bregman 3 home runs in a 10-0 rout. And no, I'm a big Ohtani guy.
But you also said Cole would have 15 Ks last night, leading Yankees to a victory. But
we had 11, and it should have been
lost.
And a once in a lifetime thing. Clay Holmes can't retire a batter
once in a lifetime.
Anyhow, Tony. Anyhow, I like Ohtani. I just think he's due for a clunker. That's it. And I think he's obviously been hot at the dish recently, but hasn't since a very hot start last year, hasn't really consistently done it. Obviously the numbers were built up with that hot start. I think he had 30 home runs at the break last year from that. mistaken, but lower average, a lot of strikeouts. So I don't know. I just think he possibly could be, a little overhyped. And yeah, the Angels suck. I think since they fired Joe Madden, they're 11-50. Wait, I can't believe it's already been 60 games since he was fired. Yeah, doesn't seem like it was that long ago,
right?
But
I
anyway,
guess the Rangers are still in the playoffs, so
yeah, that's true. But anyway, that's what I got for number 2. What do you got for Trace?
We're doing 4, correct?
Yes.
All right. I think. Did I also choose the Padres yesterday and they lost?
Yeah.
That's tough, dude.
I know you're a big Musgrove guy. 2.09.
I know. I do enjoy.
Chad Kuhl, former Pittsburgh Pirate, kind of weak. Course Field. You think he'd get lit up. You think Machado would do well.
I know. But is Blackman going to hit another fucking 3-run dinger?
Yeah.
No? I don't think so. I know. All right. I'll go with it. I feel like Joe Musgrove, 8-2, shy above a 2 ERA right now. I don't think anyone's seeing a 3-run home run off of him tonight at all. And then, on top of that, Will Myers is on the IL.
He's not even any good anymore, though.
Will Myers is okay.
Dude, compared to when he came up with Tampa Bay, though.
Oh, well, yeah, obviously. All right, I guess give me Machado with 2 dingers. And that leads the Padres here to a 3-0 victory.
All right. I am going to go to this Boston-Tampa game at the Trop. Shane McClanahan on the hill. I believe the Rays have won the last 2. And McClanahan, I think, is the Major League ERA leader, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
So he's having a great year. He's going against Winkowski of 3-3, 4.35. And I know, listen, they just announced Wander's out 6 to 8 weeks, so he might not even come back till September with a wrist surgery. So obviously that's a big loss, but we've seen from the Rays that no matter who's in the lineup, they make do with what they have. And I am mistaken. Tony Gonsolin, 1.62 ERA. McClanahan in second. In terms of strikeouts, McClanahan in second. 1 strikeout behind Dylan Cease. Garrett Cole, 6 strikeouts behind Shane McClanahan. So, he's up there in all the pitching categories. And I just think Winkowski's not that good. So I think it's just one of those games where the Rays figure out a way to claw across 4 runs. McClanahan shuts them out. Maybe the bullpen lets up a solo home run to Rafi Devers in the 8th. Before 1, Tampa Bay, McClanahan picks up the victory, takes back that earned run average lead as well as the strikeout lead.
Well, I like McClanahan.
Yeah, good pitcher.
Good dude. Young, be in the league for a while, I think.
Yeah, be on the Rays for like a year and then they'll trade him again.
To where?
Probably the Mets.
I'll take him.
No. Mets will give up the farm.
What?
Alvarez will be a future AL All-Star catcher.
That'd be ridiculous. Anyway, dude.
You wouldn't do it right now?
Speaking of the Mets, trade Alvarez for
McClanahan. Right now.
Straight up.
Right now.
No.
Oh, okay.
Huh? Come on,
Right now.
ridiculous. right now. Do it right now. Say it.
Shit.
Barnes is sweating. All right. So speaking of the Mets, I'm gonna go with the fucking Mets tonight, dude.
Wow.
Last game against the Braves here. We know they're on the road. We know the Mets do well on the road. Yes, we are aware of their injuries. However, Chris Bassett on the mound tonight against Charlie Morton. Charlie Morton, I feel, what does he have? Like a 4.16 ERA?
Something along those
along the lines. I think Bassett still has quite a bit to prove here. And I think he knows it. I know it. The rest of the fan base knows it. He needs 7 shutout innings tonight. And I think it's very possible, very plausible for him. And then on top of that, we know what the starting lineup looks like for the Mets. It's somewhat similar to the back end is Guillorme. It's Conovan, Smith, Escobar, Jankowski, and then Nito will be in instead of Mazika. But I think off of Charlie Morton, obviously he'll have a tougher time against the front end of the lineup. But I think it's very possible if Bassett, throws a good game, and then we can kind of, lean on Diaz in the 9th, which he's been absolutely lights out. Seemingly both Diaz brothers has been lights out. But, I think that a win here is imminent and very plausible. And I say the Mets will win this one in a nail biter 4-3.
All right. So for my fourth and final, I'm going to take the Toronto Blue Jays over the Philadelphia Phillies.
Really?
And
Zach Wheeler?
on paper,
Ross Stripling?
You're Stripling, obviously, the former All-Star, pitching well, underrated this year for 3.34. Wheeler 8-4, 2.46. Toronto scuffling like crazy, only 4 games over 500. The offense, where is the offense? And I think tonight is where that changes. And you look at the records. Phillies have an identical record, but just had a terrible start and have caught fire under interim manager Robbie Thompson. But I just think it's just is one of those games where if kind of like last night with the Reds, with Cole, just making that assumption. And obviously this is completely different just because Blue Jays, a lot better team than the Reds, of course. But I just think they're a little angry. And I think we can't discount or downplay the fact that Stripling's pitched well. Wheeler, I could see him, he gets fastball happy sometimes. So I could see him making a couple of mistakes to Vladdy and Bichette, maybe even Teoscar Hernandez. So let's say Wheeler only goes 5, gives up 4 earned, strikes out 7. Stripling goes 7 strong, 2 earned, 5 strikeouts. Blue Jays 5-3.
All right, dude. I don't know. I almost took the Phillies, and I'm glad you took the Blue Jays.
And I almost took the Mets. I mean, not the Mets, the Braves.
The Braves.
No, I took the Mets sometimes.
I've never
I
ever.
have.
No. Michael,
I've taken the Mets before, like at least once.
as a victory. No way, dude.
Barnes, I'm sorry, dude.
Yeah, no shot.
I don't think you have.
Oh man, that's funny.
I'm pretty sure you've taken the Sox over the Mets.
Yeah, you've taken the Sox before.
Maybe one time.
Yeah, that's all it takes.
Yeah. I had a pretty good stretch though so far.
Wait,
Mozzarella. Yeah.
we go
So
again with the
hopefully, the New York teams get back on track, Tony. And lastly, let's just the proverbial egg quickly to the world of the National Hockey League.
In they come. Evans, what a save by Vasilevsky. Are you kidding me?
McAvoy, Frederick, did you get the license plate number on that truck? McDavid, beautiful move. You just knew that Connor McDavid was going to make a statement. What a goal.
All right.
I don't like
any comedian. That's not wrong, Tony.
Well, you said it, so
Of course. Anyway, so the official start of free agency does begin at 12 Eastern. So, starting in
are you excited? How
15
excited
minutes.
are you?
I would say expectations are high. Just as far as this Chris Drury led rebuild for the Rangers after that disappointing loss to Pittsburgh in the Eastern Conference Finals. Rangers haven't made so many moves other than obviously the Gorgie trade. However, we have some other moves around the league that I'd just like to highlight here. The one that really surprised me the most is Evgeny Malkin, 4 years, $24.4 million, re-signing with Pittsburgh. I mean, there was just so much talk, like they're breaking up the big three. Pittsburgh's not going to have the same core. They want to rebuild, and here we are. I think Letang just got a 6-year deal. So the core stays intact for the Pittsburgh Penguins. We had Johnny Gaudreau announcing he will not re-sign with the Flames. There's been some Islander talk, not to mention a couple other teams. So I think he's going to be a hot commodity after a breakout season last year. And one of the better stories in the NHL last year, Vander Kane, we know all he went through with Vancouver, and it looked like at one point, he might not be able to play in the National Hockey League, gets a 4-year deal with an average annual of $5.125 million with the Edmonton Oilers. And I just feel like, he proved himself. I mean, he had a great regular season, backed it up in the postseason. What more could you want? And I just think it's huge, especially with, the Oilers signing a former Maple Leafs goalie, Jack Campbell. I think that will provide a huge upgrade in net. I mean, we saw how bewildered and just beaten up Mike Smith was. Koskinen's not any good. Skinner, stop. So we've been talking about it forever. They needed a goalie upgrade. I think they get that in Campbell. But that was his first season, kind of faded down the stretch. So little questions there. But I think regardless of how he performs this year, It's going to be better than what Mike Smith and Koskinen gave them last season. Kane, with some kind words saying he appreciated the opportunity Edmonton gave him last year, and that's kind of why he re-signed, as well as the ability to compete for a championship. So we do have that. We have Kadri of Colorado hitting free agency. Some loose rumors potentially about him maybe going to New York, which would be insane. Also there's been some talk about Patrick Kane as well. So many different things, floating out there. Cam Talbot to the Canadiens. But of all these moves, Tony, which one, that we've seen so far, which one do you think has been the best?
The best, like, in terms of like, oh my goodness, like look at this, or the best in terms of like for the team?
For the team.
I mean, it's tough. I really like that Edmonton signed Campbell. I really like how they kept Kane too, but I would say like Penguins keeping Malkin was probably the best for the Penguins, especially with Letang and Crosby sticking around, with how well they did do. I mean, think about it, like Afghani missed a lot of the season from knee injury, right? So to have him full healthy, ready to go for the whole season is going to be a big part of them, just because we know how good he is, we know how much experience he has. Couple him up with Crosby and Letang. Keeping that core three there is going to be huge for Pittsburgh, to kind of avoid, I guess, like a massive rebuild, because there's still a team that's in contention. There's no reason to do a big rebuild. And then, it seemed like with all the reports, it seemed like Malkin was leaving. So I thought it was kind of a surprise when I saw they signed him too. So I would say that.
Yeah. No, I was kind of almost shocked in a sense, regarding that. And I'm just looking here. So they're expecting huge deals for Gaudreau, as well as Nazem Kadri. And they're saying, as far as suitors for Gaudreau, they're listing the Flyers, the Devils, and the Islanders. Kind of interesting. I mean, you think about all those situations. I mean, I guess, do we think the Devils would be the best landing spot just because of what Hughes potentially could bring?
I don't know, dude. I think personally for me, I feel like the Islanders would be the best spot. I mean, to have him, matched up with, I would say paired up with Matthew Barzal. I mean, that's going to be a really tough line to get past. I don't know. I don't know what the Devils are going to do. That's tough. I mean, I would imagine, they have a lot of young talent. How old is Johnny?
So something
he's gotta be pretty young, right?
I want to say like 28.
28.
But I'm gonna look it up now.
I mean, that would
Gaudreau,
any team
1993, so 29.
Any team he's on, it would be certainly a big improvement, especially the teams you named. But it'd be interesting to see if Devils do go after him, because I feel like one thing the Devils need.
Salem, New Jersey, by the way, too.
What?
He's from Salem, New Jersey.
No kidding.
So big connection.
So obviously, I'm sure he would like to stay on the be on the East Coast, I should say. So I can see why Islanders, Devils, big spot, but I would say he would be huge. Like I said, for any team, but Devils specifically. I mean, talk about the young talent. You mentioned Jack Hughes and what he could be, but to have that type of player, that caliber of player, with playoff experience, it would be huge. And I'm honestly really surprised. It sucks that Calgary couldn't sign him. I mean, they offered him a big contract. I think it was like a 10-year contract. I forget for how much, but it was a long-term big contract, and it's a little surprising that he wanted out.
I would think it's a combination of the direction of the team, even though they had a great year last year, or just simply he wants to get out of Canada.
Yeah, I would think it's out of Canada.
Because I think we kind of forget that, hockey's different where we have all these Canadian teams. So that definitely plays a big role. And obviously people signing with these Canadian teams, because they grew up in Canada. Of course, the biggest thing that comes to mind is John Tavares going to the Maple Leafs, a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Any other moves, you're hearing of, or something, maybe the Rangers have on their tip of their tongue here?
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned Nemeth, that they kind of bought out, right? You said
right.
So obviously, the Rangers have been working on up until today, right now, basically, is freeing up cap space for a signing. I would say with with Ryan Strome being gone, I would say, one position to fill will be a center position. I was hearing that Paul Stastny could be a possibility. He is a little older, but veteran, good player, good center. To sign him to a 1-year deal and see what he could do, and then from then, finding a competent backup goalie is probably a good idea. So I don't think, to Mike's demise, that they will be signing Henrik Lundqvist as a backup. So that should be pretty interesting. I don't know who they could get. But yeah, that's pretty much all I've heard about Rangers is them kind of pursuing a center, which is what they need. And it should be interesting to see. I've heard pretty mixed reports about what they're going to do with Kakko. Obviously, it's either signing him to a cheapish deal, which is very doable now with their cap space, or letting him go, which is, I would rather keep him if I was him. We have the cap space, give him, whatever contract, like a I don't know, $2 million a year, so $3 million a year, and then you can keep him. See how he kind of develops. I mean, you saw him develop pretty well in the postseason, so I don't know what the issue is. If he wants to stay, I say keep him.
If it was between keeping him and creating cap space for Kadri, what would you rather do?
I would say keep him, honestly.
Yeah.
You freed up some cap space. I feel you can get some under the radar good guys as opposed to just wasting it all on Kadri.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Because there's a few things you can do here with all this cap space to improve multiple aspects. I mentioned center. You don't need another winger. Kadri's a left winger, I think. You need a backup goaltender. You could use some depth certainly on your squad as well. So I would say maybe not so much chase a big contract and then try and get some other smaller pieces to kind of build around here.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what direction they go. And at this point, we have almost 5 minutes remaining till the official start of NHL free agency. So we will keep you posted with that. But other than that, anything else, Tony, as we come to a close here today?
Yeah, I would say, I'm very excited for free agency to start in a few minutes, but I will say with the fact that Malkin got signed back to the Penguins and that Taves and Kane are both kind of waiting out to see what Chicago's doing, which I was very surprised about. I feel like the trade deadline, lost a little bit of its juice, I think, because those are three huge names who could have been kind of on the block sort of deal for this free agency kind of thing. But and honestly, dude, I don't know what Kane and Taves are thinking. I understand, they have a lot of history with Chicago. They are, I forget who Kane was drafted by, but I don't think Buffalo. Yeah.
You like how I know that, Tony?
I do enjoy that, dude.
That's versatility.
Do your due diligence, dude. But for the most part, those are two career, Blackhawks right there with, on a great team in a great city with great history. And obviously they want to stay there, but Chicago is going to go through a massive rebuild. And I feel like Kane and Taves really don't want to be a part of that. And I think you're going to see them ending up being traded before the trade deadline of next season. So I guess, yeah.
Wait, but I'm off here, but I thought that both are free agents, no?
I think just Kane is. I could be wrong.
Okay. I don't know why I just... okay. I think, yeah, and then Taves last year was saying I'm not sure if I want to, what the future is or whatever. Okay, yeah. So it'll be interesting to see where they end up. I think they could definitely help a team, for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but other than that, I would say another great show, and we really appreciate everybody tuning in and continuing to comment, like, and subscribe. As well as checking out all of our videos on our YouTube page, including the Barnes birthday surprise at Yankee Stadium.
Oh, my God.
I heard that one is already up for an Oscar, so we really, really appreciate it. Not an Oscar, but an Emmy. But anyway, right? Is that what it would be? Or it could be an Oscar.
Well, Emmys or TV,
short?
Oscar.
It could be short, right?
Yeah, short film.
Okay. So yeah, definitely check that out, as well as the summer collection, downtimetv.com, as well as the summer collection everybody enjoy the day. Enjoy the Open Championship tomorrow morning, starting around 3 a.m. And the Yankees and the Mets will take it home tonight. And we will see you mañana.
Hey guys, Tony here from Downtime TV checking in. I want to thank all our fans out there who's been liking, subscribing, sharing our content. You guys are the best. You guys are our bloodline. You make us love what we do. Thanks again.